back to another edition of the John Wayne Surge Protector Podcast, 6040 production. I'm Eric Halsey.
I am Alex. They might be listening midway because I think me and you talked about this offline, and I think my calls are being routed somewhere else.
Yeah, I got a call bright and early this morning, but you know,
It was
it's
11.
work. It's work, so I ignored it. And then I got a freak out text from my other wife who was like, go check this now. So I called Alex back and he was like, what is it? It's star pound.
It is star pound 22, I believe, and then pound.
Let's verify for the kids at home.
Yeah, this is actually kind of important to everybody. It's what it does. It kind of goes in. Well, I have an iPhone because I'm not poor. And what it does, it looks at it's star pound 21 pound is what that is.
Yep. And you punch it in there like you're going to make a phone call. You press send, and then you'll get a gray waiting screen. And about 3 seconds later, it's going to pop up with a, well, why don't you go ahead and explain to me what freaked me out horribly this morning?
Well, first of all, for you it may have been 3 seconds. For me, it was a solid 10. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a bunch of things that says voice call forwarding, and yours will probably say disabled. Data call forwarding, disabled. Fax call, SMS call, sync data circuits call. All kinds of things where it's forwarding things. Mine started off with error performing request, unknown error. And then it said service interrogation failed. Voice call forwarding on all calls. Nothing about disabled. And then again, interrogation failed. Data call forwarding. Interrogation failed. Fax calls. Well, joke's on you, a-holes. I don't do faxes.
Yeah, so they're listening. They are somehow getting this information through, and it's running through Apple. And we had to have a tough conversation about do we go Android?
I mean, I guess if they broke through Apple, they might be with that. But I mean, the new iPhone, I'm probably not going to upgrade it right away, especially when it comes with a free pager. But honestly, it kind of inflated my self-worth to understand that a nation state believes that I'm worth a Pegasus deployment. Maybe there's like a Temu version of the Pegasus spy system, but someone's got my ass.
Yeah, all of mine came up as disabled right off the bat, so pretty cool. Little concerned that it gave me a straight up green check mark, you're good to go, buddy, and did not have to wait as long as you did. That seems a little suspect at best, but since I'm not on the radar, you can jump over to my other podcast where I explain I just read chapters from the Anarchist Cookbook.
Yeah, what's it called? This all came up and when I was just watching some Instagram videos yesterday. I was like, yeah, give it a shot. I was like, you know what? Let me break through from this. And I was like, uh-oh, this doesn't say disabled. I was like, hey, don't worry. If you're being tracked, like, this is how you undo it. I was like, awesome. And it was like star pound 202 or something else like that, pounds star whatever. So I did that, and then I came back to it. I was like, oh, that did absolutely nothing. And your boy ended up calling Apple, and the chick was listening to me on the phone, Brenda from what it sounded like middle of New Delhi. But she was like, yeah. What was it? And then I told her, and I'm like, yeah, all my calls being forwarded. She's like, what did you dial again? I was like, this one is like, okay, I need you to hold. I need to talk to my supervisor. She came back and she did the most American thing that she possibly could. She said, that's a Verizon problem, homie. You need to call them. So she kicked the old can down the road.
That's not great, but I'm gonna go ahead and assume when you do get around to calling Verizon, sticking on hold for about 3 hours like I did one point, they're gonna tell you to contact Apple.
Uh-huh. I'm expecting a quick ride to Verizon in an unmarked van wearing a giant potato sack when I leave this house after this podcast. So who knows? Maybe I'll save on gas.
Yeah, you might want to peep through those blinds real quick and see if there's a Flowers by Irene van parked outside.
Man, that plumbing truck's been there for a minute.
Well, it's a long job.
So if something happens to me, you know exactly why, and at least the recordings of it will be in some archive somewhere. But let's move on to a wonderful thing. This is something that developed right before we started. And who said it? He said, the words are, I don't see any evidence of his qualifications for that job, but I'm willing to listen. who said it and in what context?
Well, I'm guessing it's the guy that they are gonna let run Tulsi Gabbard's position for a while, because he definitely doesn't sound like he's gonna get confirmed. So I'm gonna go ahead and say this is Mike Johnson.
Yeah, this is John Cornyn, the Texas senator who just lost out to Bill Paxton. But you are right in the second part, because Bill Pulte, a guy who's been known for building homes and licking boots, has now been what's it called? His job is the acting director of national intelligence. So just like Jared Witkoff, we're out there doing peace in the Middle East. We have a guy who does Pulte Holmes in charge of our national defense or intelligence.
Yeah, and I believe he's also running another major one of our administrative positions. If you can Google that up there, Jamie, and which they pretty much said like he'll just run both. You're like, I don't think that's how these jobs work, dude.
Well, when you suck at one, you can suck at two. Like, he's the right before this reason he qualified for a position is because he went after Lisa Cook and a few other people on there. And he's in housing, and he went after mortgage fraud. And he did get an indictment on Lisa Cook, but a judge came out and was like, this is stupid, and just went ahead and tossed it out. So his qualifications are that he likes Trump.
Well, that's all you need in this era of America, our final season. So I guess congratulations on the promotion.
Yeah, all the things that I see for America is like 1776 to 2026. I'm like, that might be the expiration date.
I mean, at least they got round numbers.
So let's move along. These are not some round numbers. Tesla was at 442 on Thursday, dropped down to 423, but it dipped as low as 214. News has come out that OpenAI is getting ready to also make robots, which kind of messes up Elon's business plan of being the big fish in a pond with no other fish in it, because that's usually how he does things. Starts out Tesla, then people get in there. He's like, oh, we're doing AI now. And AI kicks in. He's like, we're doing rockets now. Well, rockets might take a while because Bezos just lost a big one in a giant fireball, but now there's someone in the robot field.
Yeah, would have been nice if Jeffy would have saved that bad boy for the 4th, but you know what? I do love an early firework.
Jeffy's he's obviously billionaire problems, but apparently, his company, I think Blue Origin or something, has a government contract to put a bunch of satellites in space, and now it's going to be like their actual the shot into space to put a bunch of them up there, and now that thing just burnt a whole lot of jet fuel, and I don't think they're getting those satellites up there. That might be what pumps up SpaceX's stock, because you were asking how they make money.
Yeah, heard a theory about SpaceX not that long ago. It made me think it's something about our 401ks where Elon's going to end up being like, this is worth $1 trillion when they go to IPO it. And then we have to put up 401ks and stuff into the stock market. They're going to give him the $1 trillion valuation. He's going to yank his money out, and then none of us are going to have a retirement anymore.
Well, you guys are all retiring from work way too soon. You have to serve your masters.
Yeah, that's what Ben Shapiro said. And, you know.
I did see.
I'm not trying to get on your list that you're on right now.
You know what your call's for, the big guy?
Uh-huh.
I saw, again, it was on Instagram before I found out that I was being bugged, but it was like a comic on there. He's like, yeah, the billionaire overlord said AI's coming for your jobs, and you're going to help pay for it. And he's like, half the country said, damn Mexicans.
Saw another comedian talking to over, and he was like, why is it that we can't get out of oil because we're going to lose the jobs, and we can't get out of wars because we're going to lose jobs, and we can't raise the minimum wage because it'll make us lose jobs. But then we fund a bunch of billionaires that are telling us straight up AI is going to eliminate half your jobs. And they're like, that's just the way it works, man.
Don't ask it, but I do have some good news on our war against the robot toasters. I do like the words toasters. I just got done watching Battlestar Galactica, all 4 seasons. Outstanding. Ever seen?
I have not a sci-fi guy.
Well, it's very much related to robots taking things over, so it's relevant. I call it history.
Yep. Terminator 2 scared me as a child. I've been in fear of computers ever since. I was one of the last ones that you know of. Still doing VHS porn well into the early 2000s. So
just like those little gritty lines in there too.
Yeah, it gives it that authentic feel.
Yeah. Fair enough. But one thing about AI is Meta fired about 10% of their workforce, which is about 8,000 people. They started this process back in April. They went ahead and gave out official letters on May 20th, which was carry the one about a week and a half ago. And since then, hackers have gone ahead and hopped on Instagram and used the Meta AI support assistant, and they took over a bunch of accounts. All they had to do was set their VPNs to locations that were close to where those people were, and they'd be like, "Hey man, helpful robot." He's like, "I forgot my password." He's like, "I need you to add this recovery email." AI assistant would go ahead and do it, and then they would go ahead and recover themselves a password. So good job there, AI.
And you said Meta eliminated 10% of their workforce to the tune of 8,000 people?
Yes, sir.
Okay, according to the Googles here, Meta reported a full year 2025 net income of $60.46 billion. So, I don't know. Keep going, guys.
It could be so much more.
Wait, I don't know what to do with the current amount of money I have now, but I have to have more. I don't know, man. I just feel like every time I close my eyes and drift off to sleep, wondering what that $1 billion Powerball, would look like. After buying a couple pinball machines and stuff, it's generally like, well, how would I make this world better? I've never been like, I'd love to make my garbage man's life worse. Like, they're all sociopaths.
Like Elon Musk could literally end world hunger, and he's like,
Almost.
"No, I was close." But he's like, "No, he's like, I want to shoot rockets into space and make 17 kids."
Well, I could end world hunger, but I'd rather gain more power by killing hundreds of thousands of people by withholding their AIDS medication. Like, I guess that's a different way to go.
We'll go ahead and cancel all of his Ebola stuff too, and see where that takes us. Like, check the news.
Yeah, exactly. Weird question. I know this is a divert. I don't want to get into it long, but that whole time traveling to kill baby Hitler thing?
Yeah, we talked about it last time. It's killing other kids in college in Ukraine.
Yeah. Do we just stomp out, like, should somebody allegedly just stomp out that kid that Elon always had in the White House with him? That kid has, like, I'll have you murdered vibes.
No, I think it's too soon.
Fair enough. So 20 years from now, remember, it's Alex's fault.
I mean, essentially, that kid's gonna just bullwhip me when I'm going into the lithium mines and spit on my face. But I mean, right now, I think it's too early to kick a kid.
All right, fair enough.
I mean, this is gonna be the grave that I dig, but let's keep this thing rolling. One thing I do want to mention, a big update since the last time we talked. Ukraine has inked a deal with Sweden to get a whole bunch of Gripen jets, which are comparable to the F-16. But the good thing that they're actually getting as well is the Meteor missiles that come with the actual Gripen. A lot of times Russia will go ahead and just post up along the border about 60 to 100 kilometers out and then launch a missile towards some civilian infrastructure, and Ukraine's not able to strike back. The Meteor missile has a range of over 100 kilometers, so this is something, when these things start flying, it's going to put a little bit of a fear into all these bombers launching these glide bombs. So, good thing for them. The downside is it's not going to happen till 2027, so with Russia ramping up attacks and hitting more civilian infrastructure, it may not happen.
Well, considering this was supposed to be like a week-long war about 3.5-4 years ago, and essentially they're still holding off the Russians with sticks and rocks and, whatever stuff they can load into a cannon. 6 more months, and Russia might be heading back to the negotiating table.
Only Jared Kushner pulls away, and we'll talk more about that one a little bit later. But one thing I did notice, this came a little bit late, is Russia is right now putting anti-air defenses onto banks in Moscow, and they're saying that bankers will be in charge of air defense. If you wanted to see how well they're doing back home.
My God, has Russia gotten to the point where they're just trumping now?
Yeah. It's like, Bill Pulte, you're in charge of international intelligence. Like, okay, this is what I do.
I mean, you know what? That sounds like a huge win for Ukraine.
Not really, because now when you have air defense on top of a bank, when you go to take out air defense, the building collapses and then Russia can scream, "You're hurting civilians again." Like, yeah, but you had an artillery cannon up there. It's like, yeah, don't look at that.
Well, if we learned anything from a different war happening right now, nobody really cares about what happens to civilians. So, we're gonna gloss over that one the way Russia does. But have you ever had to deal with somebody at a bank, like a banker?
Yeah,
Yeah,
long time
yeah.
ago.
Not the most kind of lazy. I've only had to deal with two. Got the impression from both of them. I was like, well, it's going to take this guy about 30 minutes to waddle his giant ace over into the office here before he tells me before he laughs hysterically at my loan pitch. But yeah, I mean, it's like, all right, well, we're gonna put the gardener up there. Like, what do they know about missile defense?
As far as banks go, you should have been part of a credit union. If you had went to war for this country, you would be part of Navy Federal, and nothing but great things about them. Them and Costco.
Yeah, I did not because you guys have early mornings, tend to do a lot of running, and I'm a giant sissy. So I went, no, I'm going to join the workforce like a genius.
So let's keep this thing rolling. One thing is essentially they were talking about one of the pilots that you talked to that is currently out there training on the Gripen jets before they get delivered. This way he's ready, and he loves the Soviet MiGs and everything else, but the downside is sometimes Russia will take a break from bombing, I don't know, churches, like places where women congregate, any kind of just for a school for children. And
Weddings, funerals.
Yeah, and most of the time they'll hit a runway. And but downside is to the MiG jets that Ukraine currently has, the intakes form a whole lot lower. So sometimes it can actually suck in some rocks on there. So having the Gripens will make it a little bit easier to actually blast them off after an attack.
Yeah, that seems like a giant design flaw. I mean, I'm no Elon here taking credit for designing other people's stuff, but I feel like, what if we have a jet-powered engine with amazing suction power, but it'll break immediately if a rock gets in there, and we'll put it at the bottom where the rocks are?
Well, if you've ever actually watched Fast and the Furious, or you were back in the car culture back in the 90s, you would remember that a cold air intake added about 75 horsepower to your Honda Civic. Therefore, imagine how much it adds to a Gripen fighter or a MiG fighter jet.
Yeah, but if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. You're the Fast and Furious fella. Weren't those intake scoops like on the hood not facing the concrete?
No, cold air intake. That was all the rage back then. It came all the way to the bottom, like right there by the bottom of your front bumper. And before anyone knew about it, they're like, oh yeah, it's colder air, therefore you can get more of it, yada yada. A lot of people started rolling over puddles and they would suck in a whole lot of water and blow out their motor. And when they did the studies, like, there is no effing difference between a cold air and a regular intake.
All right, well, fair enough. Cars are dumb. And Fast and Furious franchise, super overrated, except for Brazil. That one was amazing.
The follow-up fan fiction when they reopen the Strait of Hormuz, that'll be a banger. But
As long as it's got that giant safe on a chain being dragged by a Honda Civic, I don't care. Bring it all.
There were Dodge Chargers in that episode, actually, so get it right.
Super realistic, almost as much as that Fiat and or that Pontiac Fiero in space.
Listen, man, I had this conversation with my neighbor. It's like, if you walk into a Fast and the Furious franchise expecting character development and no plot holes, like, you're in the wrong movie. Like, go rewatch Memento. Like, this isn't what it's for. Like, turn off your brain, sit down, and just enjoy.
I completely agree with you, but to completely not acknowledge the fact that they took a Pontiac Fiero into space when do you remember what the villain was in the first movie? It was one trucker with a sawed-off shotgun. So there's a little bit of difference in the stretching here.
They gave you a trigger warning when they had a Lamborghini race a nuclear submarine on ice, okay? You should have seen things were going to change.
This was Sons of Anarchy getting mixed up with the Mexican cartel. You're like, all right, guys, I think we've gone a little over the top here.
Buddy, it put butts in seats every time it came out.
Fair enough. Nope, I'm not complaining. I love a good brain rot movie, but I think it's a little overhyped.
Well, let's see how well your brain's doing, because there's going to be another one of those sections on here where I ask you questions at the end. But first, Gripen actually comes from their word for griffin. So it's a little fun fact that I learned. And it was developed during the Cold War for dispersed operations. So it allows them to operate from makeshift bases on highways. Like when you have what they were expecting is, again, a lot of the actual airships that get blown up and you're doing some guerrilla warfare and everything else. So they kind of made it for what is happening right now. So whoever said history repeats itself, it's kind of true. And if we're comparing the Gripen to the F-16, a lot of the things are very similar to each other, but there's two things that are going to kind of put the Gripen as a better choice right now in Ukraine. F-16 takes about 20 to 45 minutes to refuel and rearm. You can do 20 minutes. It's called a hot swap, and that's when the pilot stays in, engines, like you essentially idle your car outside of 7-Eleven while you're running for like smokes, but it still takes 20 minutes. And they need a runway of at least about 4,000 feet, 1,220 meters. Do you want to guess what the Gripen specs are as how long it takes to refuel, rearm, and how long of a runway?
I'm going to guess 15 to 25 minutes to refuel. And you said 4,000 feet for the F-16. I'm going to go 2,000 feet.
So, close. The Gripen actually takes 10 minutes to rearm and refuel with a crew of 5. And it needs a runway of about 400 meters, so about 1/3. So it even needs less than 2,000. Like, these things are made for that exact area. And the fact that they're coming in with Meteor missiles, like, it's amazing. It's a great deal.
So this sounds like the difference between the DeLorean from the first Back to the Future, needing enough runway to get up to 88 miles an hour, and the second Back to the Future, where it was like, where we're going, we don't need roads.
You know what? You make it relatable to me, people. I do not read you for facts.
Yeah, all numbers and words just seem kind of dumb. Just relate it to a movie, and I'm going to go, oh, okay, I get it.
So that actually makes sense. But one thing it's keeping it with the whole world, it's the French Navy, with support from the UK, went ahead and intercepted an oil tanker suspected of being part of Russia's sanction-busting shadow fleet. And again, this is the French doing the cool stuff that we used to do as Americans, like out there doing the cool stuff, boarding these people, like those are the bad guys. And right now, all we have is Pete Hegseth running on like a ship, looking like an effing fairy. Do you see that video?
Oh, yeah.
like twirling his little feet around, like wearing a t-shirt, like, this is war. It's like the nerd kid in like elementary school from math class. He's like, check out my affliction gear. It's like, you belong in a locker.
All right. So I'm not eloquent enough to actually describe the difference between skipping and prancing, but that was 1,000% prancing, right?
Like it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, he looked like, I don't even know how to, like, he looked like like Bambi at the beginning of the movie. Like, you ever seen a deer, like baby deer move where it has no idea where it's going? But then he, like, his right leg would just like flip outwards like it was like an old G.I. Joe. Like, legs don't move that. It was really weird. And I think if you're gonna be the guy running the Department of War Alpha, stick with the fake plastic weights and paying everybody to cheer you on as you try and dupe America into thinking you can bench 315.
Yeah. The stuff that they're doing, it's like influencer-esque. It's not anything that actually works in wartime.
Yeah, not a chance. But you know what, Pete? Pin in that. We'll get to my thought on that here shortly.
Yeah. So I do want to take a little bit of a medium to deep dive. A lot of things have come out as far as the Ukrainian war, and it's been going on for a minute. So I do want to kind of go into how it started, the whole thing behind it, and just revisit that real quick. It's depending on when you ask Putin, he might tell you it's because, I don't know, it's always been ours. They're all Nazis. They want us here, or they were killing Russians and we came in to help. But kind of like the latter one is what they've been doing. But have you ever heard of a gentleman named Igor Girkin?
No, but I can only imagine what it was like growing up with a last name like Girkin.
Buddy, in Soviet Russia, it was normal. That guy was not the tall piece of grass.
Yeah, anything that rhymes with what is it? A pube toupee?
Mm-hmm.
The merkin? Yeah. We would have tortured that guy.
Yeah. Well, there's none of that back in Russia. He did come up from nothing, and he came up, and let me give a little background story here. He was one of the defense ministers in the Donetsk People's Republic, and his daytime job was working for the Russian FSB. So the guy who was out there in the breakaway republic which was supposed to be all Ukrainians who were just upset about Ukraine, worked in the FSB. He was also in charge of a Crimean self-defense force where he and a bunch of Russian citizens and troops took over armed forces of Ukraine buildings. So if your invasion force is invading a place, why would you call it the self-defense force?
Because publicity is everything.
He'd say, yeah, this is completely natural, this is organic, this is the people rising up. He's like, hold on, just got my check from the Russian FSB. I'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, it's no different than being opposed to war in Iran for no reason is any different than, well, you don't support the troops.
Yeah. So, going on, that's back in 2013, he laid out a little bit of a strategy, and you can actually find this online, so this isn't just hearsay, a way to take over somewhere, and he kind of based it a lot of Russian tactics that were used in Syria. It's the first step was to create a political crisis, which happened in Maidan when that occurred down there. Then you transform it into a bloody conflict with local separatists, which technically he was part of. He was making that one happen. And then Russia comes in and they just come in and stop all these problems. And in order to speed up a process, he and 52 Russians went ahead and crossed in. And down there, they started it. And it wasn't an organic thing is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, no, I get it. If a conflict isn't coming up fast enough for you, you just go create it. Like a fake assassination attempt or a second fake assassination attempt.
Or a third one at the Freedom 250 rally, which he's going to be at, but more on that later. So, I know Igor is new to you, and he was new to me, but we've heard about him for a while because he was also tied to the Malaysian Airlines MH17 that went down. And the way he was tied to it is because he was convicted at The Hague in 2022 of shooting it down. So the court went ahead and ruled that he helped move the Buck missile system that was used to shoot down the plane that killed 298 people. But when he wasn't there for it, and when he was asked about it, he said, I'm a military man. I am not going to accept that a civilian court in a foreign country has the authority to convict a person who took part in someone else's civil war only because their civilians were killed. So, zero effing remorse.
Oh, yeah, no. That is a guy who was like, yeah, I had a job and I did it. Yeah. What's next? Also, why does the Hague do this?
Oh, not have any teeth?
Yeah, like we're going to convict you without you being here. Like, this is where you need that Batman thing where he's like, I don't have jurisdiction, where it's just, someone drops him off hogtied in front of the steps.
I mean, essentially, him and 3 other people were there as well, so they convicted other people for what it counts.
Yeah, maybe they weren't violent enough, I guess.
Yeah. So, one of the things, just to recap, let's see, I lost my little train of thought here. Here it is. In 2022, he went ahead and turned into a blogger and would complain about the war wasn't being waged nearly as brutally or fast enough. And he also started a nationalist hardline movement called the Club of Angry Patriots. At least use ChatGPT to find something else. But all in all, he sounds like he's all about pro-Russia, but currently he's been tried, he's been convicted, and he got a 4-year sentence. Can you guess why?
I'm guessing for saying anything derogatory against the state.
Not just the state, if he called Big Daddy a non-entity and a cowardly waste of space. And yeah, it wasn't the fact that he killed 298 people, started 2 freaking wars. It was the fact that he called Dear Leader a bad name.
Man, glad that never happens here.
Yeah. If you wanted to know where we get our models from, that's exactly where it's from.
Yikes.
So, another thing, I do want to, this was kind of neat when it came out. There's a whole big thread about it. And one of the things that there's a couple things that came out. One of the videos that I saw was a bunch of Grad missile launchers. These are kind of World War II era. It's just a bunch of stupid missiles on there. And you would see one truck firing to the left. And then you'd see the camera pan over to another truck firing to the right. And then some Russians haha, this is great. Hold on. You don't fire in 2 different directions. And one thing that has come out is Girkin went ahead and he himself said that when he was stoking the fires, so to speak, he told his forces to remain in populated areas. They would they would stay there, and essentially when they fired these trucks, if Ukraine hit back, well, Ukraine would hit civilians. I mean, you could be like, oh no, look, the Ukrainians hate civilians.
Operation Human Shield.
Yeah, get behind the locals.
Uh-huh. Yikes.
And again, if you're firing in two different directions, like, you're trying to egg someone on, because that's not how it works.
No, so all this, like, really making a case for worst guy breathing on Earth, and what his undoing is. He said some mean things about Putin. That's insane.
Yeah, that's what that meant. I mean, technically, the last guy who said some bad things about Putin was Prigozhin, and then his airplane decided to become a car, a burning one.
I guess he's got a soft spot in his heart after all.
Yeah. So one more other thing that came out was there was an RT video, which is full-on sponsored television, and it had Graham Phillips, and he's in there, and he's this is when they were taking over Crimea, and he's riding past an actual column of local separatists. And an eye keener than mine noticed that the tanks that the local separatists, that was in quotations in case you can't see it, had T-72 Bravo 3 variant tanks. And again, someone with a keener and a smarter eye than me also noted that at that point, that model tank was only used by the Russian military. And they were saying, these are separatist people. Like, again, this wasn't an organic thing that happened.
Yeah. This whole stupid thing about we're just going to create our own conflicts because our entire economies are based on war. I'm over. It's not sustainable. Like, something has to happen here, right?
Yes.
Because I feel like more countries are now doing this.
We're going to fuse Israel's military into our military.
Bomb Congress at that point, allegedly.
Well, they might get balls one day and you're like, no, we're going to come back and we're not voting for this 1776 payout, which actually Trump is backing off right now. So,
well, he kind of has to, after all the best governors in the country immediately said any resident who receives a payout will be facing a 100% tax.
He's going to change it, but it's my money stored in Qatar. He's like, oh, come on.
100%. Just remember, though, didn't have money to pay SNAP benefits in November.
We have to save them for the important people. Those kids have their whole life ahead of them. These patriots are out there suffering from long haul cop bashing.
Yeah, and that's why Congress needs insider trading, too. So, come on, grow up.
$1.74, I can't live on that.
Where do you think I am? My very poor state?
If you do need to waste a little bit of time and $1.74 doesn't get you Apple TV or Netflix or anything else, Ukraine has gone ahead and released a whole lot more videos about Operation Spiderweb. You can actually see these drones coming up. It's in case anyone forgot or you're just tuning in. Operation Spiderweb was when Ukraine went ahead and told a bunch of Russian truck drivers to drive their trucks to outside military bases. And once there, they opened up like a transformer and a whole lot of drones sprung out. And in the videos, you can see A-50s, which are early alert aircraft, and the Tupolev 95 N-22s, long-range bombers, just burning out there as drone after drone hit. And for the gentlemen, try to stand up with nothing moving in your pants. And for the ladies, those headlights are going to be on.
Yeah. Again, just rewrote modern warfare and couldn't happen to a better guy.
So, I mean, again, one thing, it's a whole lot of Ukraine things, but I promise it's the last one for now. But one thing they've been doing is the land corridor to Crimea. A lot of things have been coming out. They've just been raining pain on that giant highway. Because there's one highway, Crimea, you can enter through Russia over the land bridge, which Ukraine's been trying to blow up, or you can do it on land through the occupied areas. And the latter option, Ukraine's like, okay, cool. Well, we can reach this with drones. So every time I scroll past my timeline, it was just nothing but military trucks burning. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah, that's in case it rains on the 4th, it's a great way to get that 4th of July barbecue in by watching some other country's military vehicles roast.
Yeah. Love it. So, the 3-day war, now it's they have to resort to testing nukes to protect themselves. But let's go touch base a little bit. It's the people of Albania. Again,
speaking of roasting.
With that?
Speaking of roasting.
Yeah. It's like, The Albanians are out there doing stuff, and again, we should be the front runners on this. We burned put a bunch of tea in the harbor, but Albanians are firebombing houses and calling for PM's reservation because he signed a deal with Kushner. I mean, ever since he got out of having to deal with Gaza and Ukraine and all those peace talks, he went ahead and went to Albania and convinced them to give over a couple hundred hectares. And some people said it's about 400 hectares and 2.5. What's it called? It's 2.5. It translates to about 1,000 acres. And this right here is a Josa Narta protected landscape, a sensitive coastal wetland area, and it's home to flamingos, seals, and sea turtles. Like, the sea turtles just caught a break from not having plastic straws up their noses, and you're gonna go ahead and just bulldoze their homes?
Well, yeah, it sounds like prime real estate. So have we not given Kushner his due flowers yet from doing such a bang up job in the Middle East for an unconfirmed diplomat, and still has that drive in him to go make land deals in a completely separate country at the same time? I mean, this guy's a multitasker.
Maybe your boy never stopped making land deals.
Yeah.
Like Trump never gave up any of his stake either.
Let's take it easy on that, your boy.
I wonder why you're not monitored. They're not coming out. I know I'm part of a resistance because they're monitoring my cause, but you seem to be just skating clear.
Hold on one sec. He's at it again, guys.
Job notes. It's like, yeah. He's on to me. My cover is blown.
Oh, geez.
So it's, what's it called? The protest started back in May when the developers went ahead and put up barbed wire topped fences in preparation to building a 10,000 room hotel. So the locals one day came down to the beach, which is a protected area where they could just go hang out with flamingos and sea turtles, and they saw all this barbed wire. And the Albanian private security company apparently gets the same training as the local ICE agents here, because they ended up just billy clubbing a bunch of people on there. There's footage of that one, and threatening everyone who's there. Again, over a piece of land for someone else. But the Albanian authorities went ahead and did something different that we're not used to in this country when they stripped the two private security companies of credentials. They locked up one of the guards, and they stripped the police chief of his duties. So there was actually a negative impact for beating protesters. It's weird.
It's nice to see, a country have some sort of form of accountability.
That's un-American.
Yeah, it's clearly un-American and they need to be liberated, but yeah.
So, last thing to wrap up on Albania, they are trying to join the EU, and the EU does have some very strong requirements as far as corruption goes. And it's going to get brought up because the EU, but all the actual states are going to be meeting in Montenegro on Friday, and I'm sure they're going to ask about it. And in case you're one of the people who's still drinking Kool-Aid and be like, oh, this is just a guy who's trying to add value and a bunch of hippies are trying to stop, I want you to go ahead and remember that just last year, Jared Kushner's company dropped a large-scale project in Serbia as soon as anti-corruption authorities started looking around. So the entire, bloodline there. It's just blood sucking, and it's the same MO thing. Just bulldoze everything, put up gaudy things, and do anything possible to enrich family wealth.
Yeah, 100%. And I know we've kind of blasted you already a couple times over. If you get a chance, go YouTube this. Go YouTube Albania fireworks when they are blasting the prime minister's house with what looks like a had to be made in Texas firework gun. They are just blasting hundreds and hundreds of fireworks into this guy's window. There's lighting fires. It's, like I said, holding people accountable. I love it.
They're doing the cool stuff, man. It sucks. We should be doing cool stuff over here.
Yeah, our great-great-great-great-grandfathers got mad at a tax and dumped a bunch of tea into the ocean, and we're acting like we're still riding the coattails on that. Guys, we could do better.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find a video of that fireworks display. I'll leave it in the show notes, make life easier for everybody.
Thank you, sir. Coming back stateside, UFC Freedom 250 is a couple weeks away, and it looks like the administration's given 1,200 tickets to currently enlisted members of our armed forces. So awesome. Love that for them. And while this is obviously a redo of our Chomo-in-Chief's last birthday abortion. You remember that squeaky tank? The guy. Yeah, I'm happy to see some of our servicemen are actually catching a W after months of hard L's. But before we start drafting that should Trump get the Nobel Peace Prize letter, these free tickets do have a couple of caveats to them. Have you looked into this at all?
Some things about it. What was it?
Okay, so one, all these 1,200 servicemen that they're offering tickets to have to pay for their own travel and accommodations.
Well, obviously, if you're not Kid Rock, they don't get to fly to Apaches.
Yeah, and it seems like that's something you should probably start local and then work your way out so people can drive. But hey, who am I? Number 2, attendees will be required to wear their short sleeve dress uniforms. And I actually wanted your thoughts on this.
I mean, it's going to be, 90 degrees there? Like, yeah, and they're going to need to be the only people clothed while every other alpha male is there shirtless.
All right, and third, and this is what really got me, no effing fatties. Troops getting the tickets are not just required to meet current physical fitness standards, but also that dreaded maximum weight to height ratio of 0.55. So sorry to all my 3C thick boys out there in uniform, but you can watch for free on a pirate site that we will also list in our bio.
You do know there's going to be other qualifications. Essentially, it's like, you need to have blonde hair, blue eyes, and, well, this goes without saying, but white.
We want you in uniform, but also wear this red hat.
What do you think the final count of minorities in that crowd is going to be compared to just white boys?
Pereira's fighting, right?
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure Pereira's fighting, so 1.
Yeah, Pereira in the ring.
And that's assuming he doesn't have to fight the ice agents to get to the octagon.
What if ICE just racks him up? He's like, our main card's been canceled because Billy Bob from Tennessee yoked up Pereira.
Pereira broke a tooth biting a ICE agent's billy club in half. Guy's a monster.
Oh, what's it called? That's I was actually reading the Macho Man book. I'm sure you're familiar with all this, but this is brand new to me, about the one time in a Waffle House where he fought multiple cops and a German Shepherd.
Yes, he's insane. A king cobra bit him on camera in the ring, and that cobra died 3 days later.
I didn't get to that chapter. No spoilers.
Oh, sorry. But the man is insanely interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that you're finally getting out of politics and getting into something that really matters. 80s professional wrestling.
Doing my own research for this podcast makes me depressed. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I need some kind of a pick-me-up, and there's only so much alcohol I can buy.
Well, when you're done with that book, I highly suggest you jump onto his Dark Side of the Ring, where he discovers ecstasy at about 46 years old.
Did he go wrestling on ecstasy?
Yeah, and he's that amazing.
He stops being angry. He's like, oh yeah, furry walls.
Yeah, those rest holds with the skin-to-skin contact got way longer.
He's like, why is he not letting go? He's like, you feel so nice, brother.
Why is he gripping my wrist so it's constantly rubbing his shoulder? Now, while I could go into the whole doctors refuting the whole BMI waist to height chart, blah, 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 it should be noted that this no uggos, no fatties directive is not about honoring the troops, because honestly, if we were doing this, it should be the ones who have been injured in this BS war. But, that's not attractive to viewerships. But how aesthetically pleasing our boys in uniform can actually look, which leads me only to one conclusion. Happy Pride Month, guys.
I mean, first of all, no one got injured or died in that war, so why don't you shut your fake news mouth? And second of all, I don't know why Trump's doing it. It's kind of like it's for one hot chick and she's around other hot chicks. They're all kind of decent. But if you have a 7 and she surrounds herself with 4s, she becomes better. But the opposite's going to happen for Trump. If he just has a bunch of SEAL Team 6 bros and here comes this fat orange slob waddling in, looking like Baron Harkonnen from Dune, it's going to make him look even worse.
Well, as long as it's white, I guess he's okay with it. So
do you
make
think
that what
go
you
to
want.
the dressing room to watch the fighters change too?
Yes, exactly.
Just grabs Pereira. He's like, I can do anything I want. He's like, you can.
Fair enough. Bullets won't stop that guy. Sticking in the nation's capital, the White House released the Freedom 250 concert lineup last week, and it lasted about 4 hours before the cancellations started coming in. The announced musical acts included the Commodores, Young MC, this one hurt my feelings, Morris Day and the Mother Effin' Time, and luckily they all canceled within 24 hours of seeing this. Directly followed the next day by Martina McBride and Bret Michaels, who you almost famously fought at a Halloween party one time. You can hear that story on our Patreon we don't have yet. And shortly after that, Flo Rida, Milli Vanilli, and CNC Music Factory. Last, and I promise you it's the last one, YouTube shout out. Go Google Freedom Williams and enjoy the most insane 2 minutes of talking you will ever hear in your life. That guy's insane. I would go to DC to listen to him on a live microphone for 45 minutes.
Is that the guy ranting from the toilet?
Yes. I can't wait till CBS makes him the new late night guy from Takeover Colbert.
Taking over for Colbert. Yeah, it's one of the things I heard about this. Like, apparently Trump's angry about it. Whatever. What else is new? It is what it is. But like, this lineup got released before they actually locked in the artists. Like, so like, yeah, we emailed them. They said maybe like put them on the poster.
Well, that would probably be in part the promoter's fault, but we'll get to that in just a second. The only artist to not cancel has been Vanilla Ice, who recently played a New Year's Eve party for Kristi Noems and crew, so no big shocker on that one. My shocking moment? No Kid Rock on here?
That's going to be the surprise guest that comes down. And honestly, like, you just bagged Nicki Minaj. Like, she ain't performing anywhere else. Like, Jason Aldean. Like, you have a bunch of these magtards. I mean, go get yourself a Jackson Dart and just do a karaoke night.
Yeah, so honestly, that would sell tickets. And then Abdul Carter would come out and punch a hole through his chest.
That's right there.
I mean, I'd watch. Like the next day on Twitter, but yeah, same. But going back to this promoter, I'm like, how does this happen? Because the very similar thing happened to this Kid Rock MAGA Fest thing he was trying to throw out and absolutely botched and got canceled. So I did a little research right before the pod. All these performers getting promoted and then immediately backing out had me wondering, what's the booking deal with this? The Freedom 250 lineup ran through Universal Attractions Agency. Do you know who runs Universal Attractions Agency?
Someone who's universally attracted to people?
Yep, universally known too. His name is Jeff Epstein. Now, I had to hit Google Images for this one. I had to. I was like, there's no way. This is how we find out he's still alive. It is a different Jeff Epstein. So I feel bad for the guy, but it turns out he's not good at his job either because all these people canceled. So I don't know. Is it a wash?
It's possible, but one thing, it's the fact that you mentioned Jeffrey Epstein brought up. Do you know who Don Jr. married?
Wasn't it Epstein's banker's daughter?
Yes.
Who can now, according to this agreement, can no longer be audited either?
Clearly, it's completely unrelated, and Joe Biden sniffing kids is the worst the president has ever done.
If only Kamala had a more human laugh, where things could be right now.
And a whole lot whiter.
Yeah.
So, it's been a blast. We'll catch you guys hopefully next week. And, I might not be here. I might be in Gitmo in Africa catching Ebola, so... Hopefully I'm up on my shots. I'm Alex Midway.
And you better hope so, because I'm not doing the research he does. I'm Eric Halsey.
Just nothing but WWF podcasts.
Yeah, we'll rebrand it to the Macho Man Randy Savage podcast. Ooh, yeah. Maybe then we get sponsored by Slim Jim. You never know.
Daddy, chill.
Later, Gators.